Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Setup Wars episode 223, Girl Edition. If you're a girl watching this video and you want to participate on the show, then consider participating. Links will be down below. But with that said, sit back, relax, because it's time for Setup Wars. Guys, I'm super excited to talk about today's sponsor once again, Storyblocks. And if you're a content creator or streamer, then you're gonna be just as excited too. I still use Storyblocks up until now because I love that I'm able to save time and search for the perfect video clip or template for my videos. They have over 1 million royalty-free assets that include Premiere Pro templates, music, sound effects, and more. One of the many things that I use a lot of my videos are the abstract backgrounds and these sound effects that you probably have heard before. It's such an awesome and easy way to improve your video production without any effort. They also now offer Maker, which is a no experience necessary video maker. If you want to get into video editing, then you might like this, as it's very simple and easy to use. And now it's included with an unlimited all-access subscription plan with Storyblocks. Storyblocks is kind of like a one-stop shop for all content creators. I always recommend it to everyone who asks me on how they can improve their video production. Check it out for yourself at storyblocks.com/TechSource or click the link down below. Kicking off the episode is Catherine from Canada and her nicely balanced, super clean white on black setup. She is a student and this is the setup she uses for gaming and studying. She's rocking a single 32-inch 1080p monitor, however she does use the Asus VivoBook as a secondary for multitasking. I kind of like the cozy layout of this setup. She secluded herself by putting the desk in the corner and kind of blocked off the left side with an IKEA shelf. She also kept the surface of the desk neat and tidy by going with wireless peripherals. We got the Redragon K530 keyboard and the Basilisk X Hyperspeed gaming mouse. I'm fairly certain you put those items in the center of the desk just for the shot, but if you don't already have dedicated storage for those, I would recommend a tiny pencil drawer for the AirPods at the very least. These are super useful in cleaning things up from the desk while remaining hidden when not in use. For audio, Kathy is using the Logitech Z207 speakers and the Arctic One wireless headphones. I do want to point out the clever use of the desk lamp to add some soft ambient lighting in the back by having it bounced off the top wall shelf. And while I'm pointing things out, I do like the placement of the PS4 Slim as well, nicely tucked away behind the PC. Such a cute, tiny build featuring the 9600K and the GTX 1660. I do like the little figurines she added for a bit of personalization, and extra points on going with those awesome Lian Li Uni fans. And of course, we can't forget about the cable management, can we? Everything is under control thanks to the cable net under the desk, but she also did a phenomenal job with the rest of the wires by adding cable clips and Velcro straps to keep the pathing of the wires straight. Just look at that. I think Catherine did a great job with her setup. She kept it very clean and minimal, but wasn't afraid to add a bit of personalization as well. Thank you for entering. Speaking of clean and minimal setups, up next is Crystal from Cali, who also happens to be an assistant on my Discord server. I don't think you can get any more simple than this. She's rocking a 24-inch 1440p monitor that's sitting on a desk that looks like a bootleg version of the IKEA Mickey desk. But can we stop for a second and talk about the picture of the duck that you have posted right above the monitor? Is there some sort of inside joke that I'm missing, or are you just a huge fan of ducks? I mean, if that's the case, I did find some really cool displays with pictures of ducks on them that will look much better than the budget poster that you have made out of paper. The rest of the setup looks normal. She's using the GK61 keyboard with custom pink and white keycaps that she picked up from AliExpress, and she paired that with the HK Gaming Mira S gaming mouse. I would definitely pick up a headphone hanger for that headset, or better yet, an NZXT puck in white would fit your setup a lot better since you can mount it on the opposite side of the PC and keep the headset hidden when you're not using it. Speaking of the PC, it looks pretty good for the most part. I'm just curious why you have cable extensions for the 24-pin, but you don't have any for the graphics card or the CPU. Also, the cables coming out of the GPU would look much cleaner if you route them towards the cutout in the back instead, kind of like what I did with my PC several months ago. The rest of the cables behind the setup are perfect. Great use of Velcro straps and cable clips to keep things organized, and overall a really clean setup that could use a few tweaks to improve. Thank you, Crystal, for entering. Coming in at number 3 is Esther from the Netherlands and her really creative and unique custom desk setup. So she's a tattoo artist who also works at a pharmacy on the weekends, and this is the setup she uses for studying and gaming. She stated in the notes that she gained inspiration from my videos and worked really hard between 5 jobs to be able to finally afford a setup like this. That is motivation right there. The first thing that stood out to me was the awesome wallpaper. I think it does a really great job in tying the nature theme of the setup, but I would have followed through on the other wall as well, so it looks more complete. Now the custom desk she built is pretty cool. It's made out of wooden planks, and she even has a dedicated area for a custom PC. She actually did a pretty good job with it. It has this glass window built on a hinge with great spacing between all the parts and plenty of airflow. I'm impressed. She even made cutouts on the side of the desk for the I/O so that it's easy for her to plug in cables. By the way, is it just me or does her desk have a face? It kind of looks like it saw something it shouldn't have. She's rocking a stacked dual monitor setup with 34-inch ultrawides that are mounted to the desk, and for peripherals, she's using the Corsair K95 RGB Platinum keyboard with the Dark Core SE mouse. I love that she has dedicated cutouts on the desk to hide the cables from the keyboard and mouse pad, but I'm curious as to why she didn't run the mouse cable through there as well. You know, if length was the issue, you could have just used a USB cable extension. I do have to say I do like how everything else is organized, like the Razer Nomo speakers in the back and the Corsair Void Pros in the corner. Plenty of space between the gear, but still accessible. I like this setup. It's unique, refreshing, and I can't help but get these relaxing vibes from it. I think you did a great job on the execution. Thank you, Esther, for entering. Speaking of green nature themed setups, we have another one from Fatima. She is a personal trainer and nutritionist while still going to school full-time, and this is the setup she uses for pretty much everything from gaming to work. I think what makes this setup stand out more is that it's far from the regular cookie cutter setups we always see. You know, the usual setup facing the wall with symmetry and a specific color scheme. What I like most about Fatima's setup is that it doesn't really follow any type of rules. It's kind of all over the place, but I feel like it works for this style of setup. She has a corner desk with an ultrawide monitor as the main display for gaming and photo editing. However, she has also 2 laptops for clientele and schoolwork. One thing I do have slight concerns about is the placement of the keyboard and mouse. That is pretty interesting. I'm not too sure how comfortable that is considering the location of your ultrawide monitor. I would strongly recommend picking up a keyboard tray to mount onto your desk, or grab one of these corner desk connectors to give your keyboard a place to rest. For audio, it looks like she's only using a headset, which is resting on this pretty cool RGB headphone hanger, and the PC power in the setup is a custom rig rocking the Ryzen 7 3700X and the EVGA RTX 2070 Super, but she also has a console as well that she games on with her TV. There's definitely something this setup doesn't shy away from, and that is lighting and personality. Lots of it. We got a bunch of wall shelves holding up collectibles and plenty of wall art to personalize it. I like how she passed the RGB strip from one wall shelf to the other by using the side of the nanoleaf panel. Pretty clever. Overall, it's not a bad setup. It's definitely different from the others in the sense that it doesn't really follow a plan, but I think that's what I like most about it. Really, the only major concern I have is with the keyboard placement, but there's a simple fix for that. Thank you, Fatima, for entering. Shifting gears a bit, we have Heather from Reno, Nevada, wrapping up the episode with her simplistic setup. She's a PhD graduate student and uses this setup for gaming and work. She's got the 27-inch 165-inch monitor as the main display for gaming, while the secondary 24-inch in vertical mode is used for YouTube, Discord, web browsing, and the Tarkov Map Genie, whatever that is. She built it on top of the popular Carlby countertop with 2 black Alex drawers for a little bit of contrast, and she kept that color scheme pretty consistent throughout. We can see a nice combination of glorious white and Aura keycaps for the TKL keyboard paired with the matte white Model O. You did mention in the notes that the mouse cable wasn't long enough to plug into the back of your PC, and as a result, you had to plug it in the front, which doesn't look that great, but at least you asked me for a suggestion. So my suggestion is to pick up a USB extension cable to plug your mouse into. That way you're able to comfortably route it underneath the desk and into the back of your PC. There's a bunch of these with different designs, but if you want something super cheap, then this one from Amazon will get the job done for $6. For audio, she's using those tiny speakers from Kanto, but she also has a pair of Octus 5s hanging from a pretty fluffy headphone hanger. When the fluffy mobile headphone hanger isn't around, she uses the pegboard that she hung on the wall. Heather definitely has the right idea over here. I'm starting to see a lot of people use these in their setups, and personally, I think it's a really great way to clean up the surface of the desk and store things you don't use at the moment. Some other areas that you can improve are probably the cable management underneath the desk. I do see that you put a lot of effort with those cable clips and the zip ties, but I think the big problem here is that you won't be able to hide them in a raceway or a sleeve because there is a lot of space between the cables, so you would need to group them up better. You can even use a few zip ties for the cables behind your PC to keep them from flaring, but everything else about the setup is good. I do want to point out the PC location for a second. Since the vertical monitor is blocking off the right side of the desk, Heather was smart enough to move the PC to the left side so it's still visible, and this way the cables are also hidden since they are facing the corner. So if you're watching this video and you have a similar monitor layout like this and your PC is being blocked off by one of your displays, consider placing your PC on the opposite side of your desk. And that wraps up today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, consider dropping a like and subscribe if you are new here, because we do setup wars every single Monday. Also, make sure to comment down below on your favorite setup from this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love your beautiful faces, and I'll see you very soon in the next one.